All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Street Angel podcast with myself, Angelo Thomas. So, today whenever you guys are listening to it, today, tomorrow, yesterday, I even forgot what day it was, sorry. So, that's what it's like living my world. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about Ascended Masters. The Ascended Masters, some people call them. I guess I just call them the Ascended, but and within that, is a story around one in particular, Lord Sananda, who gave me a little bit of a visit and a message to share with you guys. But let's get started. So the Ascended Masters. So you'll often hear me talk about, the archangels, the angels, and the Ascended Masters. I guess that these guys were one of the first beings or spiritual entities that worked with me, besides the angels, that really drew me into this world. And that is this world of working with spirit, this world of working with energy. The Ascended Masters, it is thought that there are anywhere from 20 to possibly even 100, actually, depending on which culture or belief system you belong to, or resonate with. So the idea basically is it's stealing a little bit from Buddhism, and although I'm not comfortable with stealing from other cultures or religions, I do resonate with this. I loved Buddhism since I was a little child, actually. But the idea is that these beautiful souls, these beautiful people, they go through their what would you call it? Their lives, or the reincarnation cycles, and they've ascended to a point where they no longer need to come back to Earth. Now, you often hear me say, or some of my friends say, that I ain't coming back to Earth next time. It's Arcturus or bust. I'm not sure how I'm going to go with that. Stay tuned. But the idea here is they've ascended. So what's ascended mean? It's more light has poured into their DNA or into their body than physical 3D matter. They've opened themselves up. They've become basically a light body. Now, I'm rushing through this bit because I myself still don't understand the physics of that. But you can look up online heaps of examples where they've scientifically proven where there's these monks in Tibet that have literally just mummified themselves. They've just ascended. Everything's left them. You can also look up a heap on ascension and the process of ascension. Sorry, just looking behind my back as my French bulldog is staring at an old Elizabethan spirit while I talk. The ascension process, I always think of it as just filling yourself up with more light than matter. And your soul has learnt its lessons, it's helped others, it's been of service to others, and it's cleared all karmic ties and energies. Now, again, I don't like using the word karmic because I'm not of that world, but I guess it's about saying that your scales are balanced. Your soul has pretty much come to the end of its journey in the physical incarnation space. Now, examples of these. I did have a list written down because I know what I'm like and I sometimes skip through. So, one of them that you probably would know about let me go down here, is Buddha. Lord Buddha himself. And we're actually talking about the not the quintessential laughing Buddha, but more so the beautiful prince-like Buddha, where he lived his life as both a prince and a hermit, and he found that the middle way, or moderation of all things, was the path to enlightenment and ascension. So there's Lord Buddha. Other examples that I've written down here are El Moira. He was actual man, Rabir Singh, who was the son of the ruler of Kashmir in the 1840s. And he is actually considered one of the great saints of the Christian church, to Jesus Christ. Now, you'll see as I go through the little list that I've put together that there's ascended masters from all walks of life and all religions of life. There's also Diana, goddess hunter of the moon. There was also Guinevere, Lord Jesus, or Savior Jesus, who I'll get to in a second. We also go down the list to Kali, Krishna, Mother Mary. I often have Mother Mary's energy visit me. She's absolutely gorgeous. Right down the end here to I've got Merlin on the list, Saint Francis of Assisi, Saint Germain, beautiful violet flame he is. What else have I written down here that you guys would know? There was also a really fantastic oracle deck written on the Ascended Masters many years ago by Doreen Virtue, who we don't speak about it anymore because she's gone away from us. Again, you could Google that. But she did a fantastic oracle deck on the Ascended Masters where she included some archangels, and she also included some more modern day Ascended Masters. And there was even like the white buffalo spirit from from Americas, as well as I think she included, off the top of my head, like the Green Man and Pan, some more pagan gods. So yeah, the Ascended Masters, they assist you with something. They are very much like an archangel, actually. They're omnipresent communal guides. They assist you with certain tasks, certain aspects of your life, and they come from all different walks of life, all different religions, cultures, nations. And yeah, they've basically gone through the full karma, reincarnation, and ascension process. Now, I'll just stop there because I've just said a lot in 7 minutes. So, Ascended Masters, get on Google, get on YouTube, have a look at them, go to some spiritual gift shops or stores, see if there are some books on them. Heck, even get on eBay and see if you can find some old oracle decks or books. I think that it's a great thing that people share their spiritual resources with others instead of just throwing them out. Now, when it comes to, in particular, Ascended Masters, before I get to the real good bit about Lord Sananda, one of the ones that I've worked with in the past that you guys might be more aware of is Quan Yin. Now, Quan Yin first appeared to me when I was very young, when, I don't know if people remember this, but when, in the 90s, there was this huge movement of Feng Shui, or as they say it in Cantonese, Feng Sao. And it was that principle of aligning your house with proper qi flow. We had the Pakwa mirror, you had little statues of Fuk, Luk, Sao, the little gods. I mean, even to this day, I still have the principles of Feng Shui in my house. And it's pretty simple, some of the stuff, like, just good airflow, good light flow. Don't clutter your place. Don't have the foot of your bed at the doorway. But it's also had a lot of symbology in it. And one of them was Quan Yin. Now, she is considered the beautiful Chinese goddess of mercy, compassion, and protection. And many people in Southeast Asia have a statue of Quan Yin somewhere around a house. Now, naturally, this is depending on the 8-pointed compass where you'd place Quan Yin, depending on what aspect of your life you wanted to bring auspiciousness and prosperity to, or abundance. I personally have never had a Quan Yin statue in my house. It's something that I've always wanted, but I've just never been drawn to the right one. I'm also a strong believer in you don't necessarily have to have the actual statue. You could have something that represents her. And one of the things I have is some beautiful altar mist that my friend JJ up in Darwin has made for me from her beautiful shop. So, Quan Yin, she appeared to me when I was very young, whenever I'd see these little statues, as beautiful little pink, almost like floating rose petals from the sky, and I just ignored it because I saw so many different things that I thought it was just normal. But over time, as I worked my way through life, and I did open myself up more and more, I started to realize that this wasn't just a naturally occurring phenomenon that I was seeing these rose petals fall from the sky. It was Quan Yin. And as I got talking to more and more people, I mean, that's one of the best ways to learn about ascended masters, angels, dragons, anything really, is to talk to like-minded people. I got to know more about Quan Yin. And a funny thing was, I was actually sitting in the NT government at the time, one of the most toxic workplaces I've ever worked with in my life. And I was sitting in a meeting room that faced, it had about three sides with windows, and one of the windows areas faced the elevators. And as these 3 elevators opened, I just saw this puff of blue smoke, this most amazing pink and yellow color from behind it, and these 2 dragons scoop out. And it was quite funny at the time because it was some of the higher ups that were coming through, and I was giggling to myself about these people being surrounded by dragons, and the dragons were snapping and snarling at them. But out of nowhere, the most stunning apparition of a Chinese goddess floated through the clouds. It was a split second, but for me it lasted eternity. But honestly, it was a split second. And I wrote down in my notebook, Quan Yin. Now, I spell her Quan space Yin. There's lots of different spellings, but that's how I spell her. And I instantly knew that, right, I've got to get out of this place. And that I've got to start working with these ascended masters more and more and more. Fast forward to today, and I did. And, ever since that moment, whenever I do healings, I think I've mentioned to before, I'm an Arcturian light energy healer accredited to the ICT, as well as a Reiki Seiki master. I always call in Quan Yin to stand in the corner of the room and to help the person come through. Now, the amazing thing about Quan Yin is that she actually brings forward messages, especially for younger women who come to me and they're needing to find their voice again. They've lost their voice in a situation, in a relationship, or just in general. Quan Yin will encompass them in the most beautiful green water lilies, and will place beautiful pearls and orbs of pinks and golds within them, all with a word written on them, like sovereignty, freedom, abundance, love, depending on the person. A lot of people that come to me and that I've called in Quan Yin during a healing have actually said that they feel that presence. Now, what's that presence like? To me, the best way to describe the presence of an ascended master such as Quan Yin would be when you see in history books or even on documentaries where people are at the statues of angels or apparitions of miracles, and they get overwhelmed with that sense of, they just start crying. And it's that beautiful, overwhelming sense of the divine's in front of you. You just, you literally are just like encompassed in this most beautiful, loving feeling. I'm not saying that's the way for everyone or every ascended master, but I genuinely feel that if you haven't felt the most amazing sense of the divine love and just pure ecstasy, euphoric energy around you, then, and you've been working with spirit, then you're yet to meet a ascended master. Angels, your guardian angels, they can have, you can meet them without that feeling. They give you the warm and fuzzies, but ascended masters are just, there's something else. It's something where you literally must let go of control and surrender enough to allow them into your presence to merge with your being. To me, it's a very tangible experience when I feel Quan Yin. I can see the image of her in the corner. By that, I mean its beautiful outline of heat patterns and colors, and I can smell her. And it's just, it's these smells of like vanillas, not quite rose because that's more Mary, but vanillas, spices, and hear bells in the corner. But enough about Quan Yin, because she always seems to take over when I'm doing a healing or a reading or even sometimes I do platform mediumship events. She comes in and she starts giving messages. And side note, if there's anyone out there in Brisbane who would love to do platform mediumship with me or knows of a venue, let's get doing them, because I feel that they're needed now more than ever. But back to what I was eventually really going to talk to you about, one of the Ascended Masters, and that is Lord Sananda. Now, Lord Sananda, he's, for those people out there, I will put his name in the, the description of this podcast. But Lord Sananda represents divine love and the higher realms of spirit. I've got some information here on more well-known parts of him, that he is a symbol of Christianity for the Christ dispensation. So what does that mean? So basically, there's a huge school of thought out there that Lord Sananda is Jesus. And Jesus can appear to you based on your cultural experiences, or that Christ energy appears to you either as Jesus, if you're from the Western world, or as Lord Sananda, if you're from the Eastern. There is another school of thought out there that he is perhaps also Lord Ashtar from Ashtar Command. We're going up into the real woo-woo, Galactic Federation world there, but I might park that bit for there, because I'm still not convinced that all those three are the same. However, let's be honest, it's all one energy that we're experiencing through different lenses of identity. But for me, he represents the ascension process of humanity rising back up through into that Christ energy. He's a world teacher. He's also known as Master Kuthumi. And I always think that I see the energy of Source as this beautiful triangle, and right up the top is that Christ light, Source, Universe, God, whatever you want to call it. And as you come down, you've got the Ascended Masters, you've got the Archangels, you've got the Galactics, you've got then the beautiful, the unicorns, the dragons, our spirit guides and ourselves. Below us, you've got also the elements, the elementals. It's what people sometimes refer to as the dimensions. 3D is us, fourth dimension is astral, 5D, and to the 12D is where all these, it's their hood. But I always thinking in terms of the 5D, it's too, it's holier than thou crap. Ascend to the 5D, leave the 3D alone. Guys, seriously, we need 3D to live. I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to go sit in a cave and to transcend into complete cosmic consciousness. I still need my grilled cheese sandwiches of a day. So, Lord Sananda, he came to me about 6 months ago in this physical form, and I haven't shared it yet because to be quite honest with you, I haven't felt the right moment to, but this is something that I've been given the green light, of course, by Quan Yin. But I was told, when was it? Sometime last year, when I was doing a heart consciousness talk to a group of people in WA for a retreat that I wasn't able to make it to in person, for obvious reasons. But we were talking about heart consciousness, and I was using the Angels of Love in that talk. At the end, my lovely friend, Maya, who was facilitating that, said to me, P.S., Lord Ashtar wants to talk to you. Not Lord Ashtar, Sananda. Lord Sananda wants to talk to you. Now I put Ashtar in my mind. I bet you I'm going to start channeling him at the end, so stay tuned. And I was like, Lord Sananda, don't you mean, like Jesus, Ashtar? And she's like, yeah, just have a chat. As life got in the way, I then moved houses. The various things happened around the P word that I'm not going to use. And it wasn't until about January this year, 2022, that Lord Sananda finally appeared. Now, picture it. It was a normal January day. I had just got out of the pool, and I was standing in the ensuite ready to get in the shower, and I looked out into my bedroom, and there was this person sitting on the end of my bed in white robes. And normally when I see someone in white robes, I think to myself, it's just an angel. I'll have a yarn to them when I get out of the shower because I reek of chlorine. But this person wasn't an angel. It was a different energy. For starters, their skin tone was beautiful and almost It was very dark but reflective. They had sandals on and they had this aura of sky blue. When I looked directly at where they were sitting, all I could see was sparkles of light. When I looked through my peripheral vision, I could see the outline. And when I closed my eyes, I saw him in his entirety. And it was Lord Sananda. This is where, in most times when I have such apparitions, I literally lose my cookies. I drop everything right out the door, especially when I have, spirits like, little plague children or Miss Elizabethan woman out the back here appear to me. But going back to what I said about the presence of ascended masters, was that I was just overwhelmed with this sense of deep breath, I guess. It was peaceful. The world went quiet, and it was that euphoric feeling of the heart space. It was actually amazing. And, in the background, I could hear the streets of a beautiful, busy, 18th century street in India. And I could feel, I could hear the sounds of the cows. I could hear the people in the background praying. I could hear the temples. I could smell the heady sandalwood incense. And I knew that he was coming to me for a reason. And it was to tell me about the idea of one. Now, when he kept talking to me, I kept repeating, the power of one, and he kept just ever so gently, again, because he is that world teacher and he's very gentle, he just kept saying, no, it's the idea of one. Now, what is the idea of one? Well, it's a new take on manifestation. I don't know if anyone out there has seen the patterns, especially from about January this year till now, but the script book that all spiritual influencers on social media are using is becoming redundant. Spirit is telling us to, come on guys, use a different way. Relearn, forget everything you know, stop copying each other. A lot of people out there have stopped doing readings because they're just telling the same stories to everyone and realizing that it's people are starting to cotton on to the crap. And without sounding like I'm better than, because I'm definitely not better than, I'm always in a continual space of learning, hence why Lord Sananda came to me as a teacher. He simply said to me, forget all you knew about spirit. Forget all you know how to work with spirit. Over the next 6 months, we will teach you different ways. And I tell you, he has. If you listen to my podcast to date and then also gone back through my blogs and my social media since about 2017-18, you will see that there is very much a growth period there. No longer calling myself an empath. Understanding it's all one energy. Even not getting too caught up in the rituals of man and having to follow every full moon or, the Lion's Gate. Not getting caught up in that every eclipse coming. I think I read something today that the next full moon is such a powerful full moon and we're going to have huge transformations and it's going to be like never before. I rolled so hard and I gave myself concussion on my bed table because it's the same script and it never comes to fruition because it's not that generic and it's not that grandiose. Like it's about your soul's journey in an individual path you take. Back to Lord Sananda. The idea of one basically is that you put something out there to the universe that you wish to manifest. I'm not even going to touch manifestation because it's been taken over by pseudo-psychological, spiritual faux people that it makes me angry. But the idea is this. Say that you wish to have a illustrious legal career. You're currently studying in university. You're doing part-time work and you want to hope that when you come out of uni that you get yourself a job and that you're a success. Manifestation techniques is that they put up mood boards or they get you to burn something on a full moon or a new moon. It's like make up your mind. And it gets you really, really confused and it gets you all up in your head. And the idea is that, you can't really manifest something that's so big and huge as you being like a partner in a law firm, say 20 years from now, because the energy of now to there in 20 years time is incredibly different. You're an incredibly different person. You're an incredibly different world that you'll be operating in. I mean, our world changed 2 years. So imagine what it will be in 20 years time. So where Lord Sananda came in was, he said the idea of one is have that goal. Say, yep, in 10 years time I'll be this, 20 years time I'll be that. But every day, sit within yourself and find whatever form of meditation strikes you as most comfortable, or the one that aligns you the most, and simply ask yourself, what is the one thing I need to do today to help me get to that point? It's something that takes the pressure off you. It takes that overwhelming sense of, I was about to swear then, but it takes that sense away from you of, I'm about to, lose it because this exam's coming up that's really hard. I don't, people around me are saying, oh, it's incredibly hard to get a job when you finish uni. The naysayers. But Lord Sananda said, bring it back in. What's the one thing you need to do today? Okay. To be honest, you're feeling comfortable that you've got your shifts at work sorted. Let's make the bed. Let's just have a day where we just clean the house. You've done enough study. The exam's not till next week. You can, if you felt better with just today, cleaning up your surroundings, so that way tomorrow you can wake up, have brekkie, and just hit the books, knowing that, there will be no distractions. Then that's fantastic. That is something that has helped you shift your frequency, helped you shift your vibration or the energy closer to becoming that illustrious lawyer in the future. Because that illustrious lawyer in the future has self-discipline and knows that if they're to become a partner in a law firm, then it's not all just about the academia side of law. It's also about looking after your surroundings, How's your law firm supposed to function in disarray? You need to make sure that when clients come, it's neat, it's tidy, the admin's done. You've crossed your proverbial letters. I always get them confused. The ducks are in a row, basically. Let's talk about the ducks. So the idea is, just that one thing. And people say, oh, it's so basic, or there's two schools of thought here. First one is, it's too basic. It's it's not helping me whatsoever. How's cleaning my bedroom going to help me become a lawyer? Well, I've just explained it. It's one little thing to help you free up your mind so that to the next day, what's the one thing I need to do? Just study. Study that topic, study that component. The next day, just go to work. Leave all your thoughts behind, do your part-time job so that way you can pay the rent. You can pay your tuition. It's no use stressing about something while you're trying to work because you won't do a good enough job. And these days, you might even get bloody sacked because you haven't got your head in the game. So that's how those small little everyday things help you get to that 10 or 20 year period, because they take away the overwhelm, and it's incredibly powerful. It helped me during that month get, through the next year, where I was thinking, I've got to, have this published Oracle deck. I want to start the podcast. I want to do some online courses. I want to, all these different things. And Lord Sananda said, what's the one thing you need to do right now, right today? And in my mind, it was have a shower, make dinner, and just be. So that way tomorrow I wake up and I'll be relaxed and I can write a list or something. I can do something. And he's like, don't even worry about that. Just the one thing you need to do today. And I was like, just have the shower, just chill. And it was true, because then the next day I was refreshed, I was clear and calm, and I did actually do a few other tasks that led to me ticking off a lot of those things. Getting the contract, starting this podcast, and changing up a few things. I still would love to do the courses on attuning you guys to angels and ascended masters. But side note, if anyone's interested in that, let me know. But yeah, the idea of one. I really love it. I teach people it now when I do spiritual development work with people. I say to them, let's start with your guides. So, you've connected with your guides. Ask them, what's the one thing I need to do today? And you have that bigger, broader idea in your head of, say I'd love to have a successful spiritual business. They would love to be, a successful spiritual business in the sense of they become a Reiki master, they have more than enough money to support their family and kids, while also being able to explore their spiritual work and help other people. Being very detailed in what that would be, but what's the one thing they need to do today? Just be present in this conversation. The next day, what's the one thing they need to do today? Look up places or people, Reiki masters that you resonate with. Book in for Reiki 1, and just keep it super simple, because I tell you, how many times do you hear real life examples? I don't want that Hollywood rubbish where you, people like, what's that show, that horrible show where that woman goes to Paris? Anyways, she took one picture on Instagram, she suddenly had 4,000 followers. I like the French version where she did that and she had 3 followers. But, success doesn't happen overnight. Manifestation doesn't happen overnight. When people say that life is short, for a lot of people, life can be incredibly long. So, it doesn't hurt to sometimes just sit back and go, let's play the long game here on this goal. And I mean, becoming a lawyer is a classic example of that. It does not happen overnight. You can't just put a few posts up on Instagram and, have a website and start, your own firm. You've got to go through the formal education, the work experience. Do your time being mentored, by people that you resonate with, form your networks, understand, do you want to have your own law firm or would you like to work in someone else's? And it's both are fantastic, hero if you have your own business, but it's kind of like the same within the spiritual space as well. Take your time. Know that manifestation isn't an overnight success. Sure, you can manifest I really want to manifest a venue to do platform mediumship events. I've put it out there. I'm not going to stress about it. And it's a similar technique here. I'll think to myself, what's the one thing I can do today? Well, I mentioned it in this podcast. So yeah, The Idea of One by Lord Sananda. I love it. I now live my life by it, and it helps you with that sense of overwhelm, that sense of what's next. And if anything, it really comes back to those Buddhist teachings of being mindful in the sense of being in the present. It's also about Lord Buddha's teachings when you're, the path to happiness is in between. So you're just here and now, not attached to past or present. But also it resonates a lot too with the angel work that I do around, to work with angels, you must be present. So what the funny thing was after, I wrote down the idea of one, I started sharing the idea of one, I actually went and looked up Lord Sananda, what he assists with. Now, this is what I've got written down here, and it's actually quite hilarious. Well, not hilarious, it's true. But what he helps with is clear communication with the divine, with their guidance, direction, faith issues, forgiveness, revealing the beauty within, but also with manifestations and miracles. Now, that's the point where I got absolute goosebumps, because I was like, not really worked with Lord Sananda before, haven't really met the bloke. He came, he taught me about the idea of one, how to manifest clearly, and then when I look him up, bam, that's what his actual role is to assist us with that divine guidance and direction, but also manifestations and miracles. So, this is a bit of a long one, sorry, so I'm going to pause again there. And just wrap that up. The Idea of One by Lord Sananda. Sit with yourself and ask, what is the one thing I need to do today that will assist me with my broader goal? Don't worry how big or small it is. Sometimes it could just be nothing but relaxing. Let yourself have that moment to just do one thing. Forget all of what you've known about manifestation in the past if you resonate with this message, and perhaps follow this idea for 14 days. Give it a shot. Let me know how it goes. Look up Lord Sananda. Look up the broader Ascended Masters. If you've resonated with anything that Quan Yin and I have spoken about. Yes, she did come through in some of that. She talks through me sometimes. Have a look up through, Feng Shui books. You can find I found 2 actually Feng Shui books I used to have that I accidentally threw out on a online secondhand bookshop. But Google, look through old the Ascended Masters Oracle cards. If you resonate with any of those other ones that I've previously mentioned, give it a shot. I find too that the best way to connect with these Ascended Masters is pretty much how you connect with angels or with higher beings, and that is find a quiet place, light a candle. I love white candles. They raise the vibration of so much. Maybe I should do a podcast on that. And find your way that you're able to meditate, whether that be some deep breaths, whether it's through prayer, or whether it's actually through the intention of connecting with a specific master by focusing on their image. We're very visual, us humans. Call them in. Just think to yourself, Lord Sananda, I invite you in and thank you for the guidance you're giving me now. Talk in the present tense. Visualize them sitting around you. If you've got a little bit of history on the Ascended Master, visualize what it would be like during their last incarnation on Earth. I love to think of Quan Yin being around the most beautiful fishing village and the sounds of that, the smells of the salt air. Be specific in your guidance. What's the one thing that I need to know today? Don't get ahead of yourself. When you get that one thing, it could be a message visually, could be a sound, could be a sensation, could be nothing. Trust the nothing. And then don't force it. Just thank them out loud. I love to thank them out loud. Blow out that candle and just go along with your day. And trust me, you do this enough and you submit to their energy and you let go of control. In your head, the one thing I need to do today is X, but they say, nah, bruss, it's Y. Go with it. And trust it. So, there you go. The Ascended Masters in a very small nutshell. Brief introduction to Miss Quan Yin, who I will introduce you to further in the future, as well as bring forward channeled messages from her, even let her talk, as well as Lord Sananda's The Idea of One. So, thank you for taking the time to listen to this little bit of a lengthy one today. I did pack it with a heap of concepts. If you have any questions around Ascended Masters, Quan Yin, Lord Sananda, how to connect with the Ascended Masters, or more broadly, you wish to book in with me to do spiritual development work, send me an email. It is connect@angelothomas.net. It's probably the easiest way to connect me at the moment because of all those scammy moles on Instagram copying accounts and trying to be me. I just don't want to touch the DMs, the direct messages. I really think those people need to find Jesus, but that's another topic for another day. But yeah, send me an email. Be sure to be subscribed to this podcast so you don't miss out on future episodes. And if you have an idea for a future episode, let me know. If you'd like me to do even a few short bonus ones on how to connect with a specific meditation to connect with Ascended Masters or Angels, or anything else. I was thinking even the myths of mediumship. Let me know. So, have an awesome day. Don't stress. Remember, focus on one thing today that helps you with your broader goal and leave the rest up to the spirits. Thanks, guys.